I watched Max 10 times. He only got his Crocs on the correct feet 1 time out of 10. Is he guessing or not?
Yeah.
He's not. We have voted for he's not guessing, he's not guessing, he's not guessing, he's not guessing. Prove it to me. Statistically prove to me that he's not guessing, that he thinks it's right. Wait, we got Tyler picks up his TI. JT.
It was such a small probability.
Right! If,
Only 1 out of 10.
beautiful.
Yes,
If you look at the distribution of guessing, right? If you look at the distribution of guessing, it looked like this. If he only got the Crocs on the correct feet 1 time out of 10, that's him right there. That's him right there, yes? Well, that's a problem if he's guessing. Because, well, he might be guessing, but it's such a small chance that he's guessing because of this. It looks to me that his normal number is, say, 1 out of 10. Which means he thinks... Steve, what's on your mind over there?
Well, you only observed him 10 times.
I only did, but I randomly selected. I randomly selected it. So if you want a better answer, what should I do?
You should do more trials.
Oh, of course you should. And Stephen, you actually, see how I put it's a 244-ish question up there? The reason it's a 244-ish question is, this piques my interest. After I watched him 10 times and I only saw him get him right once, I said to myself, holy crap, that's only 10% correctness out of those 10 trials. What that is it's got a p-value. The p-value is about 1%. When a p-value comes in under 5%, we've talked about this before in this class, that's when you say, what the hell's going on? Either it's an outlier or something's going on and I just observed something interesting. So I kept watching him after that. And guess what happened? I stopped measuring him, but he kept putting him on the wrong feet until about age 3.5. When all of a sudden they started going on the correct feet, or was it 4.5? I forget which age it was. All of a sudden they started going on the correct feet. And hearing what Trey just said makes me think that a lot of kids think that wrong is correct. They think that this looks right for some reason at that age. I'm seeing some nods. It seems like some people have seen the kids do the same. So I kept watching. You're absolutely correct. 10 wasn't a whole lot, but that was I didn't want to watch him every single time. I wanted to do a nice random selection over that summer, 2010. So it would have been 2 actually, not 3.5. So, but after the next couple years, they started going on the correct feet, and now they always go on the correct feet. So yeah, I think something goofy in with their processing, and it sounds like it's not Max in isolation. It sounds like it's a lot of kids. Sean, yeah?
A side note, I was just wondering, you watched him and never corrected him?
No, never corrected him. Never corrected him. Yeah, I want it to be as scientific as possible. Right. So he obviously corrected himself after time. I have no idea why. It's watching me put mine on, watching his friends put his on observation, but something happened in the correct. Please.
What about your wife?
She never corrected. I made her not correct her because of this. It's like, babe, scientist. What's the go? Back off, man. I'm a scientist. Goes, what's his name? Yeah, Sean.
You're all, I all think he...
I'm funding his therapist later. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was just wondering how often you run these experiments.
Well, whenever I can think about it. Poor child. He's a happy kid. You watch it, buddy. Kid, look, he's smiling. Smiling. Never take a picture of me. No, whenever I can. Like, it's interesting how life presents itself to me. In 244, just today, we tested the iPod shuffler to see if the claim that was made against Apple was legitimate, that the randomizer on an iPod shuffle is not random enough. So we tested it. I mean, it's like they just present themselves to me, which is kind of nice about statistics, that your world is pretty much always there. Recently, just this weekend, Facebook post came across. Bees in France are making blue honey on this one hive. Maybe you guys have seen this one. This honey that looks like blue paint, like dark blue. Let me share real quick. Hang on. And again, Sean, to answer your question, it just presents itself. French honey bees blue honey. There it is. There's a picture of it. Looks like paint. French bees make green and blue honey. Here's another picture of it right here. This is the picture that popped across my website. Okay, and that's disgusting to me. Being a beekeeper, that is absolutely foul. It looks like Sherman-Williams colors. And the interesting thing was it says, bees at a French farm are producing blue honey after feeding on the waste kept at a, I don't know what biogas plant in the vicinity. The one on my Facebook page said they were feeding off an M&M processing plant. They were eating off the shells of M&M processing. I didn't know they made M&Ms in France, so I'm thinking that might be bogus. But this got my attention because being a beekeeper, I know that bees don't go after waste; they go after nectar. And a bee would have to be mentally deranged to think that bio-waste is the same as a daffodil. that make sense? Yellow jackets will go after like simple sugars, like or processed sugars. Yellow jackets, that's why they make those traps for yellow jackets. They put like basically sugar syrup in a trap and they'll catch yellow jackets all. You ever find any honeybees in those traps? No, because honeybees don't want that. Honeybees don't go after your Coca-Cola or your Red Bull left outside on a hot day. Yellow jackets do. You take a drink of that and you're stung in the face by a yellow jacket, not a honeybee. So this is hard for me to believe, but now I want to turn it into a math problem. So it just, they present themselves to me, which is great. It's the best part about this course is that the world is full of examples like this. It's just a matter of tracking them down and seeing. Is that a fair answer? Hopefully. Hopefully I'm not you tell me I'm not going to ruin my son's mental state as he gets older. Cool? So that's the binomial. That's the binomial. And dist fill and dist draw just allow you to analyze them just that much more effectively, I think. I want to keep talking about binomials real quick. Do you guys have any questions about Max? Do you like JT and Tyler's solution that we don't think he's guessing? I think that's pretty legit. That's pretty legit. So let me ask the question. He only got him correct 9 times out of 10. Or excuse me, he only got him right 1 time out of 10. If you had to approximate the percentage, what would you call it?
He's right.
He's
90%
right.
of the time.
In his mind, he's
Yeah.
right 90% of the time. Because there's still that little goofiness about the fact that he got it wrong in his mind 1% of the time, right? If he thinks that's correct, he still got it wrong in his mind 1 time out of 10. Which
That's it.
sounds like he's probably right in his mind 90% of the time. Which means he becomes the chicken distribution. He's flipping a coin, but his coin comes up heads 90% of the time, not 50% of the time. And that's all a binomial is. A binomial every single time. A binomial every single time is simply flipping a coin. It's just not always an equally weighted coin. Does that make sense? 50-50 is equally weighted. As it starts skewing from that, it changes from 50-50 to 40-60 to 30-70 and so forth and so on. More about that in 244, those of you taking that journey. But actually, a lot will start with that in 244.
Why is it still considered flipping a coin?
2 sides.
It's more like toast with the butter on one side.
It's more like toast with the butter on one side.
Sometimes it falls on the butter.
Interesting, not to re-answer Sean's question, but Bruce Emerson actually modeled that. Why is it that toast with butter, if it falls off the counter, tends to always fall butter side down? Like,
No way.
seriously? It's heavier. It's going to fall, it means the same reason when you spin a penny, it doesn't go 50-50. Yes, it's always yes or no. It's just not always yes or no equally.
Yeah.
Yes or no equally is that perfect bell curve we just saw. Yes or no unequally the curve starts skewing themselves. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Good questions, good questions. Other questions on this before we get going? I want to get back into these distribution ideas, but I want to make sure that the questions get answered first. Don't worry too much about this. Just let this wash over you, friends. What this is, it's a graphic I couldn't help sharing with you. I had to. It's a list of every single distribution that exists, at least that I know of,